Cinnabunny. I grew up on a tiny island with a population of 700. It was one of those places where everyone knows everyone. When I moved to the big city, I got a GameCube from my grandparents. I would go to school, come home and play the Harvest Moon until my parents would pry the controller from my fingers. This game feels like all of that. The story so far is good. You don't have amnesia, your grandpa doesn't die and you live in his farm. You're just a little bunny with a big responsibility of helping move your family away from the drought that has been plaguing you. It's simple, but that's a positive here because this game has much more important things to deal with. This game also seems to be romance free for the most part, which for me is either a positive or a negative, but from the cozy games that I have played, I don't think it's a fresher take than having a romance driven plot that drives your main story. The characters are where the game shines. They don't rely on the stereotypes and have something to teach even a hardened adult. Each character has relationships, thoughts, things that trouble them, things that they like, other bunnies that they relate to, but it's far more nuanced than that. Some characters struggle with mental illness, some with the weight of expectations, some with being lost in a world that seems all too big for a little bunny, and some with the disabilities that have come with affect their lives. And as someone who was once upon a time fairly well-known chef in my area, but suffered from the brain damage through no fault of my own, it was characteristic to see myself realized in a small way. One of the bunnies tells you he doesn't like another, but that's not a big thing and not everyone is going to like you, and you don't have to like everyone either. And if everyone get along perfectly, we wouldn't have our perspectives challenged. I also really enjoy that the bunnies state when they are done conversing with you. It's not aggressive and each bunny has their own way of setting their boundaries, which I found so calming and adds so much tonally to each character. This game directly looks at the negatives that come with being alive and being human, or bunny, and handles them with a grace and kindness without dealing into anything inappropriate or foreign for a younger audience. Also, Belle runs a great little stretching session that I highly recommend joining in on in real life. The gameplay is smooth and very simple with a couple bugs that are actively and aggressively being fixed by a very caring developer. A sprint button was added shortly after launch, but I find myself not using it and enjoying exploring town slowly and truthfully. I enjoy that everything needs to be actively engaged with and the things that can be automated don't take away from the cozy slow-paced gameplay. The day-to-night cycle is long enough and doesn't leave you feeling rushed to get anything done, and I really love having to actually go everywhere to do things, like having to hop on the post office, to found the community projects, visiting certain bunnies to engage with the certain side features, and really being encouraged to take the time to talk to everybody. I adore the baking mechanics, I love the mixing ingredients, I love testing out recipes and getting feedback based on the other bunnies' preferences, and I love that the recipes progress as you do. This game also has a phenomenal little quality of the live feature, where if you were to smash the camera against an object while rotating, instead of zooming it harshly, it actually opens up a window on whatever solid object, so you can still see what you are doing clearly. Another great quality of life feature is the journal, where you can keep the track of everybody's preferences. It's very easy to use and a lot better than having to pull up a wiki or have an actual notebook or standby. Also, the confetti and a little toot every time you bake something perfectly gives me enough dopamine that I long could fuel a stadium. Graphics are really cool here. This game obviously has a very simple cartoonish style which leads itself to the nostalgic feeling of the game, but someone tell me why the footage renders better than my FPS or MMO I've ever played. Tell me why every blade of grass renders clearly from the beach of the mines. The soundtrack and audio is also perfect for the game and everything is so truthfully put together to make the cohesive experience. My overall thoughts on this game may be biased on someone whose whole life revolves around rescuing special needs bunnies, but I genuinely don't think there could be not more before a perfect cozy game for me. This game is a breath of fresh air in an overstimulating world where people are expected to do things solely to make money and consume. It forces you to turn off the part of your brain that wants to just keep scrolling and forces you to actively make decisions and engage with the community around you. And if you can fully immerse yourself into that, you are bound to have a lovely time. This game is slow-paced, quite nostalgic, and handles nuanced subjects with care and kindness. The character interactions and the basic mechanics are the highlight of the game. The story is not romance-driven and encourages you to interact with everybody in the community. It has lovely but simple gameplay and a great quality of life features. For me, this is a 9.5 out of 10. If I really wanted to compare this to the other games, I would say it strikes the same feelings as Harvest Moon, Another Wonderful Life, and Harvest Moon Magical. Melody, while being its own special game that I would not doubt to love for years to come. So, thank you guys for watching this review. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and set up notifications. Bye.